Hey everyone, today I'm going to be doing a quick comparison video of the M10 and the M11. Now there's a ton of videos online comparing these two cameras. They're probably a lot more sophisticated than what I'm about to do, but really the reason I'm doing this is for people that don't live near a Leica store. And so really all I want to do is show each side of both cameras and just walk through the differences so that you can get a sense of how different that they might be in person. All right, so first let's start with the front. So I'm gonna take both cameras, just get them up here. And first thing you're gonna notice is that they are basically identical. In fact, the only difference that I see on the front is that the M10 has this additional button here, which I personally didn't find myself using, so I'm not entirely sure even what it's for, but it has it here and it doesn't have it here. Now similarly on the top, they are identical, except that the M11 this time has a button here. So maybe that over on the M11, this is a customizable button that you can assign different actions to, and so maybe that's the trade-off that happened there. I'm not totally sure. But yeah, you've got your ISO, your hot shoe, your aperture and shutter speed priority, your shutter on-off button, and then the M11 has this extra button there. All right, let's take a look at the back. Okay, we've got the M11 on top again, and you'll notice that again, they are basically identical. There's a slight difference here, which is that on the M11 it says play, then function, then menu. On the M10 it says live view, play, then menu. So there's a function button here on this one, on the M11, and a play button, which I like because play feels a little bit more standard in terms of the photography community. Okay, LCDs appear to be the same size to me. Now let's take a look at the bottom. Now we're actually getting down to one of the core differences between these cameras. So let's take a look at the M10 first. So the M10, it's got this base plate. You can spin this, take it off, and then from there you can take the battery out. And also your memory card slot is in there. A lot of people didn't totally love this because it's kind of cumbersome. Some of the purists like it because this is how some of the original Leicas have this type of base plate. But what I like is that on the M11 they came out with this new battery system, which is based on the battery system that they have for the Q. So you just pull this little lever and this battery comes out, but watch this, it doesn't fall out. So you gotta give it a little push in order to get it the rest of the way out. Again, you've got your memory card slot in there, so that is essentially pretty identical. Let's see, any other differences? Yes, there is another difference. There is also a USB-C slot here, input, that is only on the M11. I haven't really used it for much yet. I used it to connect this camera to my Photos app. I don't know what else you can use it for. Okay, now let's talk about another key difference. Another key difference is weight. So this is a solid brass body. It's fairly hefty. It feels very substantial. This body, I believe, is a combination, at least this is what they told me at the Leica store, that there's some brass in here on the top and the bottom, but the primary part of the body is aluminum. It is noticeably lighter, in my opinion, as long as you keep the rest of your, as long as you're not using a super heavy lens on. If you're using a big monster like this, and you have a grip, and you're using the Viewfinder, then it's gonna start to be less noticeable. But if you're using a nice little travel lens like this one, then you're just using a thumb grip, then that's gonna be a nice light travel camera that you can wear all day. All right, next let's take a look at the viewfinders. All right, so this is the M11 here with the strap. This is the M10 without the strap. And here are the respective viewfinders. So that's the, I think it's called VisoFlex 1 and VisoFlex 2. So when we put them on the cameras, you're gonna notice that the VisoFlex 2 looks larger, but they're actually the same size. Like if you turn the 2 on its side, they're literally the same size, and I can prove it to you. So here's the case for the VisoFlex 1. I'm gonna put it in round side down. So that's very compact, and you'll see that that fits flush inside of there. But this surprised me. You can actually take the VisoFlex 2, put it in the same case, and look at that, it's flush. Fits in there just fine. I love it so much, I've really thought about keeping this leather case whenever I sell my other one, because it's such a great fit. Here's the case, by the way, that comes with the VisoFlex 2. It's a sort of a canvas bag. I don't like it as much because it's not as space saving. You know, it's kind of bulky when you compare those two. Okay, so let's get them on the cameras. I believe the M11 only works with the updated VisoFlex, but I'm not 100% sure on that. I'm sure you can Google that. Okay, so here's what the M11 looks like. Sorry, M10 and the M11. So let's see if I can get these in. There we go. And get my arm out of the way. There we go. So as you can see, the M11 VisoFlex, it sort of does feel like it has a larger footprint because it is wider. And let's look at these from the side. So, you know, but it's thinner. So from the side over here, it's smaller, but then from the front, it looks larger. The experience of using the updated VisoFlex, though, is just overall better. It has a bigger, brighter viewfinder. It's just better technology. It's just come a long way since when this one came out, and so overall, it has a very similar feel. Again, there's more similarities than there are differences with these two cameras, so yeah, I wouldn't focus too much on that. Okay, what else? Oh, this was something I wanted to show off, which is I'll just kind of show you what my travel setup's going to be with the M11, and talk about the main reasons why I upgraded. Some of which we've already gone over, but it'll be nice to have a little recap to finish off this video. Okay, great. So here I've got a nice little compact 50mm f2 Summicron with the VisoFlex, although what I would like to do is most often shoot without this and have the thumb grip on here. And the thumb grip, this is an M10 thumb grip, and it works just fine on the M11. Leica came out with another thumb grip because they changed a bit of the body paint style and they wanted it to match perfectly. But you can use the M10 thumb grip on here. You cannot use the M10 hand grip because it has a different base plate setup. So you'd have to get a new hand grip if you want to use the hand grip. Yeah, check this out. So this is the leather pouch. It's the short one that's made for smaller lens types. And then I've got this cool little clip here, so I can clip it onto the camera. I can take it on and off basically. And here's what I really love about it. So let's clip this on. All right. Let's make sure I did this right. Yep, looks like it. And now I can just put this in here. So what's really nice is that whenever I'm out traveling and shooting, this is my camera bag. I'm not gonna have anything else. I'm not gonna have a big, heavy shoulder bag with a bunch of lenses in it. I'm just gonna have this, and then whenever I wanna shoot, I can literally just start shooting like this, you know, with the bag still kind of hanging from the camera. And because it's such a lightweight setup, the body really is lighter on here, and I'm using this tiny travel lens, I could wear this all day and not even think about it. Okay, a couple more reasons why I upgraded to the M11. So number one was weight. Number two is that it has a 60 megapixel sensor, and it has a digital crop setting inside of here that is just like the one they have on the Q. What that means is that you can bring, let's say, like a 35mm lens with you, and then you can digitally crop in to approximately 50mm, and you can digitally crop in again to a 75mm. You're losing some resolution, but the sensor size and the megapixels are so massive to start with anyway that you can take really good quality photos with a single lens. And because this is a rangefinder, and because, you know, I shoot with primes and this camera is meant to work with primes, then it sort of saves you it gives you some versatility, but saves you the trouble of having to swap out a bunch of lenses, which again can get you to that place where you just are a single lens shooter. Trying to think, oh, there is one more thing. So there's a third thing. Thing number 3 is that it has a new shutter system, so it can shoot mechanical, which is that gray sort of what am I trying to say? Like the mechanical shutter, whenever you open up the camera, you take the lens off and you see like those different, that shade, that's the mechanical shutter. Or it can shoot electronic, which means that it's up all the time, and whenever it takes a photograph, it's completely silent. And then there's hybrid mode, which is what I have it on, which is that it shoots mechanical only when it has to, and the rest of the time it shoots digital and completely silent. So if some of you might remember with the M10, they came out with an M10P that was like this camera, but it had a few extra things, and one of the things it had was a silent shutter. Now that they have the mechanical shutter, or sorry, the electronic shutter, that gives you a completely silent shutter on a Leica, which is really great because now I have a super lightweight camera that has the versatility of letting me shoot in 3 different focal lengths, sort of, and it doesn't make noise, which is going to make it even easier to take photos of people that are like, you know, I just met, or that are like almost strangers or strangers. And so I'm pretty psyched about getting this thing on the road and trying all that out. But, you know, again, more similarities than differences, but those are sort of the things that drew me to the M11, including the fact that it is so similar. I like the M10, and so I like that they kept most of the things on the camera identical. Okay, I hope this video is helpful to somebody out there, especially for those that don't live near a Leica store. And hopefully this provided something a little different than some of the other videos. Like, I'm not really on here to be an influencer or to, like, you know, try to get you to like watch commercials. I'm just, you know, doing this because I really love cameras, and I'm sure a lot of you out there too. So that's everything, and hope you have a good rest of your day. Bye.